right, welcome to the Dragon's Tome. I am your host Chopper this week, joined by Rob and Jack as always, the two sexiest men alive or dead. Uh, Here we are in October of 1987.
Maybe we're undead.
We're
87.
undead.
87.
87.
It's 88.
Are we 88 already?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that 88 last week too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, shoot. All right, so here we are in 88. I'm a sophomore in college already. Jesus.
8 months before that, it was 88 too.
Oh, gosh darn it.
I'm in grade 9. No, 8.
So, yeah, issue 138, episode 138, and it's Halloween.
One of the classic covers.
Very classic cover, and this is a cover that's included in the Monstrous Compendium in the second edition when that comes out.
Yep.
Yes.
It's one of the dividers.
Cover.
Jeff Easley.
Another
one
Jeff
of
Easley, right?
the number 4s. Yep.
Yep, he's one of the top guys.
Yep.
It's
So
a
we're
good
getting
article.
a lot of good covers back to back
I
here.
look at covers now.
Yeah, this is a classic, and this is finally an October issue, all about Halloween stuff. So it's This is I liked what he called this cover. It's called Halloween Greetings.
Top
Halloween Greetings.
I don't have anything bad to say about this cover. This is like one of the classics. I mean, you cannot escape any of the D&D literature and not see this picture somewhere.
Yeah, it's amazing.
You're not cracking open a current day monster manual or anything from Wizards of the Coast on and seeing this level of competence and just quality, knowing that all the movement in it, the action, the everything about it is perfect.
Yep. Yeah, it's great. It is. And notice the top doesn't have the stupid black bars. The number's right at the top with the money.
Mm-hmm.
It's got the tagline above the dragon instead of just trying to cover up this poor bat over here. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
They let the cover breathe.
They finally figured it out. Unless they got a new layout guy. Does it say if there's a new layout guy?
Who knows? They change all the time at TSR.
It says production staff, Betty Elmar. I wonder if that's
good one, Betty.
What's her face's wife? That's Elmore's
first
name.
Yeah. Larry. Yeah, I wonder.
Larry, is that Larry's Elmore's wife? So she's like, you guys don't know how to
or a daughter. It could be a daughter at this point.
Oh, yeah. A relative of.
Yeah. It could be a coincidence, but maybe not.
It could be. True. All right, so let's move on to some articles. Let's start with Rob.
Why do I always start? I'm like, you guys want to get me out of the way.
Jack only has 2, and I want him to. Well, I take that back. Let's start with Jack because he only has 2. And
we might steal it. I don't want to steal one of his. Yep.
Tactically, that would be the thing to do, but Rob's pure animal magnetism just draws us to him, and we always choose him first.
But now we are going to go with you.
Also, I yell if I don't go first.
Because Chopper's in charge.
Chopper's in charge. Chopper's in charge.
I remember that show.
Chopper in charge of our days.
I don't know who played opposite of Scott Baio in that, but I think she was a smoke show, if I remember correctly.
Oh, but I think she went off the rails too as she got older.
Let's not get into that. Yeah.
She was on Baywatch. That Nicole Eggert girl.
Is that the right one? Is that Charles in Charge?
That's the first Charles in Charge. There was a second Charles in Charge with the second family.
I don't know.
I don't care how off the rails Nicole Eggert is.
I don't think she's off the rails. I think she's relatively normal. I think I've seen pictures of her lately.
Okay, so if we could go to PDF page 46, please.
Oh, you stole one of mine.
46? Is this one of mine? Nope.
The End of the World, the Plague, Player Characters, and Campaign Worlds.
By Eileen Lucas.
This is part history lesson, part how you could play it, why and how you would put it into your campaign.
Yes.
It is about the plague.
Jack, did you choose this one because you love buboes?
Buboes of the groin? Yes, I do.
I thought so.
Definitely,
I know Jack too well.
If it's got buboes, I'm
boobin.
I mean, when I read this thing, it read to me as like, and the way she even says it, it's just how to either reset your campaign world or destroy it.
Just wipe out a percentage.
But the thing is, I was reading this thing, I was like, is this a thing? Do DMs just all of a sudden get bored with their campaign worlds and decide to
wipe them out? Yeah. I guess if you want to get the status quo needs to be shaken up once in a while. You get a nice plague going.
Yeah.
It can be, especially in a fantasy realm, because then you could figure out some necromancer behind it or something.
Yeah, all I know is just it seemed like very doom and gloomy article about if you're. I mean, because I think her actual words were saying if you're bored with your campaign, or maybe you have an old, tired fantasy game that's going nowhere. This is how you get rid of it, basically.
But it's worked very well in other works of fiction. That exact situation. You ever read the Bible? Blood, boom, bang, start over.
Clean house.
Easy.
Clean house.
It might be a little lazy, but it works. But anyways, so it tells you how to use it, what you can do to like liven it up in your campaign, and what the
nice little charts on how it spreads.
And at the end of the day,
out. Everyone click. Rob, we lost your camera.
Oh, I didn't. You didn't lose it. I have a surprise for you boys.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
I thought we were timing out now because... Oh, he's got boobos with the groin.
He's going to show us his boobos.
No, I have a plague mask. No?
I've got 2 of those laying around. I used to have one right there. I don't know where I put it.
See, that's why everybody loves plague masks. Oh, fell off. Oh. See, plague mask. I saw it up there. That's when I was like, hey, it's the perfect time.
You should have warned me. Mask. I would have worn one of mine as well.
Yeah. You should have warned me. I would have gotten open sores on my face.
Jack is also in love with Plague Doctor, so
I would have taken off the makeup off my open sores.
And Rob robbed me of the ability to join in Plague Doctor shenanigans.
I'm sorry.
That I will not forgive him for. So
I'm a bad person.
All right. Anything else to add to this article other than REM stole the title for a song?
No.
Okay. All right, then, Rob, let's hit your
That was not one of my articles. I'm going to go to page 24. I'm sure this was somebody's article.
It is mine. I've become Jack all of a sudden with no articles to talk about.
Well, we could talk about this together. It's the Ungrateful Dead, expanding the ranks of ghastly host. It's a very long, but a very good article, going in depth on all different undead and variations you can use in game. They got skeletons, zombies, and ghouls, and they go through all different ones. What?
The only downside I think of the skeletons and ghouls and zombies that I didn't like is that he categorized Wendigos as zombies.
No, they're ghouls. They're under ghouls.
They're ghouls.
Or the ghouls are.
Yeah.
It's because they ghouls eat people. That's why they wanted to go under there. But
flesh eaters.
Yeah. Skeletons. I like they have something called the skelos, which are skeleros, which is skeleton in Greek, I guess. But it's he does that because they're based on the fighting skeletons from Jason the Argonauts, who are like because skeletons in D&D are pretty wimpy, but they're pretty tough. So he wanted some tough skeletons. So that's kind of cool. Zombies. He goes into a great history on them. Has great stories about. Real life zombies and stuff.
A lot of voodoos and stuff.
Yeah, really good article. And then schools, not as much.
Just like the last one, this was like a history lesson as well. And
I love the
story about the zombies. I read that and I was like, yes,
it's actually a good story. Yeah,
this is what I want out of a magazine. If I buy it, I want to sit and be entertained for a long time.
Yeah, this is a really good article.
It's nice to point out too that this is a Tom Moldvay article.
Yes. Yep. And and then the ghouls he talks about, you should be Lovecraft ghouls and then other types of ghouls. And the Colossus of what's it called? It's a famous Clark Ashton Smith story. It's a giant undead skeleton thing and lots of cool stuff. It's put together very well. I mean, I liked it. It starts with the generic and then goes into the more specific. Yeah, it tells a little history of it and then goes into like historical or like folklore versions of the things that aren't in the monster manual, which are fun.
Yes.
Yeah, I like it a lot, and I enjoy it. And if you really want to spice up your undead, this is a must-have article, I think.
Yeah, you can get some really good zombies and really good ghouls.
Especially when your characters are like, oh, it's just a zombie, and all of a sudden they're kick-ass skeletons or something. It's like, yeah.
But cool. The rules say I can turn skeletons, but not this skeleton.
And I wonder, the Walking Dead one sounds a lot like the Walking Dead TV show. I wonder if he actually read this article.
Not the Walking Dead, but I think it's more the Living Dead.
Well, the Walking Dead one is Night of the Living Dead but that's these he calls them the Walking Dead, which is the Kirkman book. So, it's
did he have the Walking Dead out in the '88? I don't remember.
No, the comic book. No, it came out in like 2000.
No, but he does under the same Walking Zombie. He does reference George Romero.
Yeah, that's where he kind of bases these ones off of. Yeah, but very fun. And great.
Well, because in Dawn of the Dead they get faster, don't they? Because they get faster after every.
Well, not in the remake they were faster, but not in the original ones. They were smarter. They were smarter in Dawn of the Dead.
28 days later.
Yeah, 28 days later was the fast ones.
Yeah. But hey, it's October for this issue, and we got a Europe wrecking plague. We've got zombies. Like everything's on brand. I appreciate that in a magazine.
And
it's finally actually doing it.
And here's me derailing it.
No.
What page? You guys took my 2 articles. 72.
72.
A roll of computers.
Oh, what you got to talk about in this one?
Star Command. This was a sci-fi RPG that I loved playing.
Oh yeah.
Because you created a party of 8 characters. And then you ran all the missions, but combat wasn't always just based on the characters. Combat was primarily ship-to-ship combat, so you got to do almost Star Trek-esque type things. You would Starship Command to get to where you need to go, land on the planet, complete all the missions, do all the puzzles and things like that. So,
damn, games were expensive back then, eh?
Yeah, I miss that, and I said it, and we talked about this, how games were harder when we were playing games, and I miss these old games that were rough and hard, tough to play. And then
to add a personal story, my nephew, he's 14, 13. He was playing. I got one of those systems that had like 601. They're all like the old Atari games and stuff.
Yes.
And he was playing them. And he was complaining how hard it was. I was like, man, this is how games were back then. They messed you.
My wife was.
They give you no chance.
And I was playing the old Atari Sword Quest games, and those games were horribly created. On top of being excessively hard.
Yeah.
And I'm playing the game and I'm cussing up a storm. My wife goes, and I could hear my wife kind of going, "What's going on in there?" And I finally at one point screamed out, I'm blah blah years old. How the F is some 8-year-old supposed to be playing this fucking game?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, back then we were stronger. Nowadays it's all saving. There's no save points.
And then my wife lost it because I'm screaming at a computer game that I couldn't play when I was 8 years old and still can't play when I'm 55.
Yeah.
We had nothing but time. There was
nothing else going on. Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah. There was no Facebook. There was no Instagram. There was no.
Was the closest thing to a distraction. After that, you had hours.
If you didn't go to the roller rink that night, you were playing video games
or out in the fields to play. Yeah.
Yeah.
And especially around here, TV channels, you had like 4 channels, so that was it.
Once the snow came in, back when we used to have snow, you would be like 3 months of like, okay, there's nothing to do.
Yeah, you go play in the snow for a while, but you get cold, you have to come back in.
Yeah.
Play your Sega Master System, which is coming up soon. So.
Yep. All right. Well, that's me. Jack, what
that's
do you got?
You in the corner. That's you in the spotlight. Yeah. Speaking of REM.
Why are we speaking of REM?
Because it was the end of the world.
End of the world, we know it, and now I'm. This is me in the corner.
Yes.
Hey, I'm drinking La Fin du Monde.
Oh, they come in cans now. Remember, it used to be that giant bottle. That was it used to be like a wine bottle. It's beer, but it used to be in a wine bottle.
Just speaking of the end of the world.
Yes.
All right.
Funny.
Jack, what do you got?
What do I have? Okay. If we could go through to page 10, please.
10?
Oh, that was my article, too.
Oh, this one was mine, too. So it cuts into us.
It was not.
I'm just going to say that. I left this because I knew one of you guys would pick this one up.
I'm surprised anyone did. I took it because I thought no one else would.
Oh, I took this because I have things to say about this.
Well, good. Then we can all, this can be a joint. We can, all hands on deck.
Let's
Teamwork makes the dream work situation.
Yep. You have something to say, Jack?
So yes, basically in my notes, it just says it's got a in-depth how to paint skeletons, spoopy skeletons, and it's got underpainting, which he doesn't call it that, but that's what it's called now, along with the 3-up color schemes, doing a triad for colors. It is surprising that at this point, most of the fundamentals he's writing down here.
You're so sexist, Jack.
Oh, I apologize. They have written here.
It's Jean McGuire, and it's spelt the female way, so I assume it's a female.
Is it Jean or Jeanne?
Jeanne. Jeanne McGuire.
Jean McGuire, R.I.P.
Is it French? Jean?
Maybe.
Goes through and does an excellent job of saying the process to paint a miniature in ways that I didn't think were this early on. There are fundamentals that we use to this day, and honestly, I didn't think through the looking glass this article, this is what they were going to be doing with it, and I'm on board.
For me, I said it's a very long article just to tell you how to dry brush. But yeah, it is like you say, it is very early on to be teaching you how to do this kind of techniques. So
yeah,
it's cool, and it's obviously, I don't know if heavy metal or heavy metal as it was in White Dwarf at this point doing the same kind of things, but I assume it would probably be about the same time. So yeah, this is in the zeitgeist of how to paint things. People are learning how to paint miniatures.
Yep.
Like, I think the collective, over years, people have developed these procedures, and I think it's finally getting to the public, which we haven't seen yet. So.
And I'll be honest with you, I don't know if it was this article or something else I read, maybe in GW.
Yeah.
That I learned about dry brushing.
This is definitely, like Jack said, the 3 colors up GW style of painting. This is pretty much the basics of it right here. The 3 different colors. And
I took the lazy man that way out, and I did 2. I did a dark and a light, and call it a day.
But now, they do the spot highlighting and stuff like that.
Do you think it's becoming more popular because more people know about it and more people are doing it, or do you think it's because the miniatures are getting better?
I think it's the miniatures are getting better, and there's a plethora of miniatures coming in.
Yeah, and imagine dry brushing some of those old miniatures, they'd look terrible. Because the whole point of dry brushing, it brings details out. Those old miniatures would bring things you don't want to see.
Around this time, Citadel is just flooding the market with miniatures, Space Marines, and Fantasy Orcs.
Same with Ralpartha, too. Ralpartha's.
Yeah, HeroQuest. Yeah.
Yeah, so it is a lot of miniatures coming out. And
Battletech, even faster, but Ralpartha was handling those at the time.
But that's it. I think, it is. It's all the things that people were doing, but they're finally telling you how to do them, which is cool. The way it should be. Because I'm sure at this time people were like, I started painting about this time, and I definitely didn't know about these techniques. So,
no, I was putting my tester's paint on, and
unless you were, because I was just doing model painting.
Exactly,
just putting one color on. But unless you were an actual art student in high school and learning from a teacher,
well,
you're not gonna know these things.
That definitely, we learned about color theory and stuff like that in art during high school, and that's when it got better because we understood highlighting and things like that, low lights, and that you learn all that stuff. In this was pre-high school for me, so that's why I wouldn't know any of this stuff. So
there was a time where it was put color on it so that it looked good enough for the table to I'm enjoying this, I'm going to do some line work, I'm going to do some of this because this is now my hobby. It's not ends to a means to an end. It is what I want to do.
I do hope through the looking glass. I don't think it does last that long, but I would like to see like edge highlighting or non-metallic metals eventually. Like it would be funny to see that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
non-metallic metals didn't actually. I don't think became a thing.
Wet blending. Yeah, no, all that stuff is kind of
maybe 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah, it's all relatively newish.
I started seeing non-metal metallics around Golden Demon times.
Well, you know how I feel about them. I say it's wanky and just buy some metallic paint. So.
I'm going to say New York, 2004. So around 2004 is, I think, when I started seeing non-metal metallics.
Yeah. It's definitely a newer one. Anyways, yeah. So this was one of my articles also. Who's turn?
It would be my turn, but I am out.
Okay.
Jack?
This was Jack.
That was mine, so I think...
It's all Rob then.
You guys are all both out? I got like 10 articles. Yeah. You guys skipped me, that's why.
You guys both did both my articles, so I get one article left. I mean, I can go back. Let's go back to page 46 and let's go to that article.
That's yours?
I'm joking. That was the first one we did.
Okay, we're going to go to page 40. Method to Your Madness by Ed Freelander.
I honestly thought Jack was going to take this one.
Jack, was this one of your articles?
No.
This is what
it is. It's not my wheelhouse at all.
Well, my point is it's what it is trying to add Call of Cthulhu sanity rules to D&D, which does not work. Don't try it.
Yeah, I saw that. I read that, and I was thinking the same thing, too.
He does say that you should do, like, the whole thing with, which I never really thought about, was that people criticize the sanity rules for all these games and saying, oh, it's so unrealistic, but he makes a good point that they're unrealistic on a purpose, because you don't want to have realistic insanities because it might trigger people. Like, he didn't actually use the word trigger, but that's exactly what he's talking about. You don't want to talk about real problems. You want to make it more like, okay, this person's got multiple personalities. It's not like it's schizophrenic, right? It's much more cartoony insanities, which makes sense when you think of it that way. It's like, oh, you don't want to bring real things into the world, so... but other than that, he really tries to put Call of Cthulhu's sanity rules into D&D, and like I say, it does not work, because we've seen articles like this in the past, I think, too, where people try to do the sanity thing in D&D.
Well, it was the perception. The perception was the last one we talked about.
Yeah, different rules that are from other games, yeah. D&D is good as it is, but it can't be everything to everybody. So don't add insanity to it. So that's
every RPG has its in a sense, quote unquote.
It's
weak side, and you can't fix everything. It has a weak side for a reason.
It's just not part of the game. Like it's
yeah. There's there's no reason to put insanity into your game if you really craved it, or if you had an story idea, like a mind flayer is gonna cut. There's a chance that there's a reason for it, but as a whole,
like this is actually trying to add a mechanic to it, not just be a one-shot thing.
Yeah.
This is a whole new system for it. Yeah, it's just adding on to something that should be in the game. That was it. Were we on? Who's next?
Yeah, that's it. We're all done except for you. So
Jack, are you done? Are you done too?
I did my too.
Oh, geez. We're going to be talking to me a lot.
I did my buboes of the groin, and then I did my Through the Looking Glass.
Okay, we're going to go page 18 then. This is Black Book and the Hunters, new items for Chaosium's Call of Cthulhu.
I left this for you also.
Yeah, I knew you'd leave me the Call of Cthulhu one. Pretty much it's a new grimoire for Call of Cthulhu and a monster that gets summoned by it. And it has a really good colored piece picture in it with the hunter outside the window and the guy with his little statue being like, is there something behind me?
I love that. You look at the clock, it's like 3 minutes to midnight. There's the monster. He's holding the statue. Like everything about it. It is such a good picture.
And the beauty of it is, it's actually that monster in the window is actually the monster in this. That's the hunter of Shubit Nugarath.
Yeah,
because it's
what I like
the description
too is the artist did a very good job of putting into the guy's face, is there something behind me?
Yeah, for sure. He's definitely got that look like, should I turn around? It's got, this is very much a ecology, because it's kind of in this guy's voice, this professor's voice. So he talks about finding the book and summoning the thing with it. But as we all know, any good investigator in Call of Cthulhu should never, ever read a grimoire. So it's ultimately a useless item. So, because you should never read them.
Unless you're your nephew who goes, I'll read the book.
Don't read the book. Or if you're just trying to screw up a mission. But anyways, yeah. So that's my little article on Call of Cthulhu.
Right. Next one?
I think I have one more. One last one's nice and quick, though. It's on page 85. It's part of the role-playing reviews. It's Sandy Peterson's Field Guide to Cthulhu Monsters. Our friend of ours had this. It's a beautiful, oversized book, like huge book, and it's just color plates of all the Cthulhu monsters you'd want, and it has like field notes and stuff for them, and it's a beautiful item. And for $16 for 64 pages, like you could rip out the pages and frame them because it's such a beautiful book.
You said the 100%. Portraits were awesome. The line says here by the author, well, the color portraits are nice.
Yeah, it's amazing art.
So they must be disturbing, is what it also.
Well, it's Cthulhu monsters. They're definitely disturbing.
That's what I'm saying.
But yeah, it's they did a newer version of it, sort of. It's not in the oversized like this one was. It's good, but not as good as this one. It was a piece de resistance for the Call of Cthulhu collector.
Yeah, art is subjective, but if the author doesn't think the art is great, then I subjectively think he's a dumbass.
I don't think he doesn't think it's great. I think he thinks it's disturbing. That's the thing.
But my takeaway is A, the chutzpah to name the book after yourself, Mr. Peterson, and B, I don't know, did he write this when he was 12? Because I saw him maybe 2 years ago, and I thought we were the same age.
No, he's quite old. Jack, that might be saying more about you than him.
Yes, probably. Ponce de Leon must have said, "Hey, it's over here."
Well, he wrote Call of Cthulhu in what, 82 was it, something like that, and
he looked great for what must be now 70.
Oh, I think
why he wrote Call of Cthulhu, because he's made a deal. He's using this grimoire.
Oh, that's why he's kept his age. Yeah, he's looking a little older now, but he's got a YouTube channel. You can watch him talk about all different things. But yeah, he's we have friends who don't like him because he's run some shady Kickstarters, but that's not him. I'm sure it's his company. But,
well, regardless.
But he is a very important figure in the Call of Cthulhu world, and also in video games, because he helped write a lot of Doom and Quake and a lot of games like after this. So
yeah,
he went into the video game world after all this. So yeah.
Is that your last article?
That is my last article. Yeah.
All right, Jack, why don't you hit us with your ad?
My ad. Okay, we're going on ads, folks. Let's go to page 108, please.
108. I thought you were going to steal mine at first. Really? This one? Interesting.
Wrote this magazine. There were these little blurbs. You see at the top left-hand corner of this here, you'd see these street light bulbs, and it said, "What does your friend think your favorite werewolf would be?" or whatever it said. I'm thinking, what is this? It got me. I was So by the time I got to this, I was like, oh, it's a TSR game that I didn't know existed, and it is called I Think You Think I Think.
You know what, Jack? I didn't see those light bulbs at all through this whole magazine.
Oh yeah, they're everywhere. I noticed them. Yeah,
they are everywhere. Let's just scroll up a couple.
I did. No, I just started looking, and I did not notice them.
I started scrolling. I didn't see them, but yeah, it's one of these board games that they're trying to get into to make some money into the regular world, into the normies. It's a party game, it looks like, of some sort.
PDF page 93.
Okay, well,
how well can you predict your friend's opinions?
Yeah.
That's the one I found, but I'm sure there are other ones. But
there's tons. Yeah.
There's tons. So yeah, I saw one. I was like, "What's going on? What is that?" And the first one I saw was just like it was near the front. It was just kind of pushed to the side. Anyways, the game speaks for itself, I guess. You poll all your friends around you. What do you think your answer would be to this question? You must write it down. Hey, my favorite color that isn't, of the rainbow would be, and then all your friends go, I think his favorite color would be violet.
Puce.
And you'd write that down, and then
chartreuse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it is an old game that they just turned into a board game, but yeah.
It's what Cards of Humanity turned into.
Sort of.
But dirty.
Yeah.
Page 64. If you were to die and be reincarnated, what would you come back as?
Eddie Van Halen.
It isn't on page 64. You lied to me. It's on page 67.
Of the magazine.
PDF. Yeah, you screwed me over, Jack. You screwed me over.
If I say PDF, then the number, or 5.
Anyways, yeah, it's TSR trying to make money. That's what that is. I don't think they're that successful. I'd come back as a Rock.
I'll come back as Eddie Van Halen. Rob, what do you got?
I don't think time travel is possible. Maybe. 105.
Oh, that's mine.
Well, you could talk about it.
Oh, so this is the Forgotten Realms Campaign World First Edition, and it's a must-have sort of ad. It just has all the stuff out for First Edition.
That's what I thought was cool. It definitely had everything you'd want for Forgotten Realms.
It's a catalog. It's basically the must-have of what you need.
You got a calendar, all the different things.
The novel has the Crystal Shard, Spellfire, Azure Bonds.
Yep.
Which is a really good book.
We'll talk about that next issue, I think.
Yeah, that's my only ad. So
Save it.
All right, since that was, I'm down to one ad, which is working out in Jack's favor. So we're going to go.
I'm done. I'm tapped. You can do whatever you want. I'll have a nap.
Page 44.
Schmaug.
Turning into a zombie. Middle Earth role-playing game Mithril Figures, and all I said to say is they need to see scale because Smaug is tiny.
Yeah, compared to a Hobbit. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's Bilbo and that's Smaug.
Say it right. Say the
Smaug.
Smaug.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's he should be much bigger. Yeah, and not so fat. He reminds me of the dragon from the D&D movie.
Oh, I hate that dragon. That dragon was when that thing came out in that.
It's a real D&D dragon. Like there is
I'm
a
sure
fat
it is,
dragon,
but
it's stupid.
It angered me. Like what the hell?
Especially in a D&D movie where that's the only dragon. Make him cool, not so fat. Fuck.
It was horrible.
That was a stand up and clap moment for audiences around the world, and I will not have it besmirched.
It was their attempt to try to put more comedy into a movie that was fairly comedic to begin with.
Anyways,
didn't need to be there, but
this Smaug
Mythra Miniatures. You probably need to go back and watch the.
Yeah, I guarantee a Citadel and Ralpartha do a better version of Smaug.
Because even the cartoon, all you saw was his eye.
Yeah, it was
Bilbo
huge.
was as big as his eye.
Yep, for sure.
So,
and if you were to be painting this Bilbo up as a miniature to use as your halfling thief, the pose, the bowing pose.
Oh, he's bowing? I thought he was dabbing.
I thought he was hand puppeting. Hello, Smaug. I'm taking your gold.
I thought he was
Jennifer Lopez hand.
Anyways, my ad.
Yeah.
69. It's 89 Gen Con Game Fair. Nice. Notice it's not a combined game fair with Origins. I wonder how that went. I noticed they never had any articles. Right. They never had any articles discussing that game fair, so I assume TSR was like, we do not speak of Gen Con 88 because they don't talk about it. So maybe it'll be in the future. We haven't got there, but yeah. So it's just back to just regular Gen Con in the
$30 now.
Mecca Convention Center in Milwaukee. Is that where Adepticon's going to be?
Yes.
Yeah. So Adepticon.
The new and improved. The Milwaukee Expo Convention Center or something.
Yeah. It's Adepticon is moving from Schaumburg near Chicago to Milwaukee next year. So. And this is where Gen Con is at this point in 1988. So
it goes from
walk
here,
in the hollowed halls.
It goes from here to where it currently resides.
Is it? This is the last place they go before Indiana?
Yeah.
I almost said Indianapolis and Indiana at the same time. It was a weird word. Indiana.
Indianapolis.
It's a weird word. Muncie.
It's in Indiana also.
That's Muncie, Indiana.
Are you David Letterman all of a sudden?
You don't think
Muncie?
You don't think
tapping your
from
pen.
The head office?
You think Muncie is more weirder than Kokomo?
Kokomo. That's only because it's in the Beach Boys song.
It's also a town in Indiana.
I know it is. That's it for me. I'm tapped out. We done?
Oh, me too. All right. So
look at that. That's how an episode should be, Jack. Jesus.
This is gonna wrap up episode 138 of Dragon's Tome. Lots to be had. Buboes were spoken of.
Buboes were to be had.
Buboes were had, and we learned how to kill your campaign if you ever get bored with it.
And we learned that Jack loves plague doctors.
Plague doctors. All right. Well, like, share, subscribe, hit the buttons, comment. We love your comments. We love to chat.
If you have a Grindr account where you dress up as a plague doctor, Jack is interested. Oh, sorry, Tinder, not Grindr. Sorry, Jack. I didn't want to out you.
Oh, all right. Well, now
Jack think about a Tinder girl in a plague doctor mask. That's all I'm saying. You'll be happy.
Now that Jack has been thoroughly outed and embarrassed, we're gonna move on. We will see you next week. And for the Dragon's Tome, I've been your host, Chopper.
It's quaint that he thinks I can be embarrassed. I'm Jack.
Yeah. Jack embarrasses himself way more than I ever could. So.
Yeah, I know.
I'm Rob. Bye-bye.
I know he's not embarrassed, but I just like to say it, so it gives him a little bit of humanity.
No, yeah, he's not just a robot. Drinking his Findamont.